So, Stacy earlier before church started, she said that you guys are gym, and as worship was going on, the Lord He began to talk to me about y'all, and you guys. It took a lot to do what y'all did. Y'all made it look easy. That was hard. I'm sure that was hard for y'all to just transition. Um, huh? Well, so I only know a little bit. Yeah, if you want to, absolutely. Yeah.
We were have been at a church for 24 years, and we did children's church. And I was an elder, and I led the men's group. And Candy had many women that she prayed with. We're servants. We don't just go. We don't. I knew the children. I had to introduce myself to adults. But what I'm saying is, we were comfortable in what we were doing,
Sure.
and the Lord just says, "I've got something else for you. I've got something new."
Yeah.
And so I asked her if it was okay, and she said yeah. And so here we are.
Well, the good thing is that's going to happen to us here. So I think that you guys were assigned to us. You know, when you're doing something and it's fun and it's not bad. It wasn't like you guys wasn't really anything bad happening. It was just time for something else. And what I want to talk about today, it's called returning home. And you could view this so many different ways. I mean, I know for all of us, we do like to go home. Home is a nice place, you know. To me, home is a safe place, dominantly, you know, and I can sleep all night there. That's a nice place. For y'all, maybe hey, just going home and just relaxing. I mean, home is usually attached to rest in your mind, and that's a good place to be. It kind of helps keep the mind faculties, you know, in order. That's what I tell them. Hey, I don't mind coming to work. I just know I'm going home and I'm not staying a minute after. I'm just telling you, you know, I'm going away from here. You know, I love you guys, but I love home too. Um, so right when I got here this morning, um, something very different happened this morning that was just all it's just odd to me. Um, and usually if something odd happens and you're a routine person, are y'all routine? Do you use the same amount of toothpaste on your toothbrush every morning, like you just squeeze them just a little bit, you know, and then you've rolled it up so many times that when you squeeze it you drop it and you just keep squeezing because you just refuse to buy toothpaste? So that's what I do. So this morning, I mean, it was like I couldn't even see the toothpaste head, and I was like, "Wow, I don't like that." We're already starting off wrong. Just woke up, and when I got here this morning, the Lord said, "John, do you remember when I slowed you down the other day?" And I said, "Yeah, and I don't like when you do that. I really prefer you not to do that. You know, like you should have let your son Jesus have a bicycle." You know, I really feel like you cut him short. You made him walk. Like that's pretty dirty. We have cars now, you know, and it's acceptable. So he said, "Listen, just remember, you can be busy doing a lot of things, but slowing down to take care of the Father's business is always more important." I said, "True." So I don't think I've shared this here or not. I made probably one of the top 5 largest mistakes I've ever made in my life. I did that a couple of weeks ago. Very costly. Yeah, very costly. Just because I was on the phone, somebody was at my window. My kids were like, "Hey, Daddy, the lady's been standing at your window for 5 minutes. You know, you need to roll your window down and get the food." Well, I'm on the phone with the tax lady trying to get the information to send the information to her, you know. So both very important, food and tax, you know. So I'm kind of tired. And so I'm like, I'm writing it down. I tried to get her to repeat it to make sure I had everything right. Got the food. I said, I am so sorry. That was a tax person. I'm sure you can understand. She goes, oh yeah, nobody wants tax problems. I was like, no, absolutely not. So got the food, went home, you know, did all the stuff that we normally do, whatever. So I get ready to send all my tax stuff, you know, whatever. Tax time is great, right? Everybody enjoys that. Exciting. Awesome. Yeah. Caesar, right? So I send everything in, you know, and she's like, I need birth certificates, social securities, all that for your kids. Okay, cool, no problem. So I sent it, you know, and, you know, I just going about my business, you know, whatever, just like everybody else. So a couple hours goes by, you know, or whatever, and the phone rings, and I said, hello, what's going on? Hey, I haven't gotten anything from you, you know. So I don't know if y'all like freak out, but I literally had a mini stroke right there in the backyard. I was like, are you serious? Like you're talking about mega important information. You ain't got it? Like, are you serious? This is a joke. She said, sir, I would never joke like this. I said, I'm going to call you back. Blink, hung up. You know, so I made a couple of phone calls, found out that that address is not an address that is abandoned. It is an active email address. And so I said, okay, well, I just purchased some security for the children for the rest of their life, you know, just in a second. Very costly mistake. Maybe nothing ever happens, but at the very least, very costly. So 4 hours goes by, of course, you know, to get all that fixed and covered and, you know, monitored and, you know, some kind of security, you know, outside of Lord help. Call her back. Yes, sir, you missed it by one number. Looks like you just had one number or one letter off. And I was like, wow. Yeah, that was a nice little mistake for one letter. And she said, yeah, it does happen, and I'm really sorry that that happened. I said, no, ma'am, it's not your fault. It's my fault. I 100% own that. So definitely not how I wanted the day to go by. And I just was like, that is so weird. You know, I could care less if I'd done that to myself. I don't even care. But my kids, like my job is to protect these children, like from anything as much as I can. But the Lord was like, John, you put way too much on yourself for the kids. Just trust me. Do you remember when you used to trust me? And I said, no, because it's been very short. and I don't feel like he laughed as much as I did. But, you know, at certain times, things have been removed from us. So we have to trust. And it's always attached to pain or discomfort. And it sucks, doesn't it? It is terrible. And I'm usually like, Lord, please, would you hurry up and stop this? Would you quit playing tormenting games with us? This is not very nice. And it seems like he just goes, no, this is for your good. And I tell him, I don't think it's very good. Doesn't seem very good, sir. So when I got here, you know, he told me that story and I chuckled a little bit. But he said, just think, my son was doing certain things and I would redirect him. So he would feel the same way that we feel. You guys were in a direction for 2 decades plus. And he said, hey, let's go another direction. That's difficult. That is not, I am very routine, you know. And if there's a new direction, like, oh, the road's closed, you mean I have to go all the way around? The first thing I think is, man, I'm going to be late. And I don't like being late. I like to be early, right? I don't know if that ever gets y'all all flared up. I get flared up. So Jesus, I had to find the story this morning. It was not what I wanted to do. I'll be honest with you. So this is going to be fresh, like right off the griddle. I was heading in another direction. Okay. Isn't that great? Yeah. So y'all get to see, Mickey, do you see it? It is smelly up here, right? Is it burning flesh? Mickey says it's a pleasing aroma to the Lord. So he was headed in a direction. Mark 5:21. I don't know how I found the story because I literally had no grid at all. Even the story, I just knew that he got redirected. So now when Jesus, I'm going to have to wear these because all I see is blurry lines. Now when Jesus had crossed over again by the boat to the other side, a great multitude gathered to him, and he was by the sea. And behold, one of the rulers of the synagogue came, Jairus by name. And when he saw him, he fell at his feet and begged him earnestly, saying, My little daughter lies at the point of death. Come and lay your hands on her, that she may be healed and she will live. So I'm going to stop right there. So Jesus probably had a great message as he had crossed the other side. It was probably entitled like crossing over or transitioning or something like that. And he had a lot of people. He wasn't intending on going over the other side of that to leave, right? I mean, right before in the couple of verses before, like a lot of things had led up to this, right? And if you've ever watched anybody that motivationally speaks, they have a system, right? Or a formula that motivates these people. You ever seen a reenactment or a play? It builds and it builds and it builds. And like you're talking about the highlight of a moment as he's crossing over, and he had to die to that moment and go and do something else that wasn't, not that he had an agenda, but he had to go do something else. So he has to go to a man's house for the little daughter, right? You know, young kid. That is definitely important. But I don't know about y'all. That would be a struggle to me if we were right now, like right before when that song ended, somebody comes up and says, "Hey, we need you to go to the hospital and go pray for this little kid." That would definitely be a change of plans. You know, hey, David, I gotta go. Are you serious? Right? These are moments that most humans do not like. I don't like them. You know, I kind of have an idea if you know something. I think Brad's talked about this and David too. You know, the Lord says something to you. You kind of have a grid of what He's talking about. You don't really know the time. You don't really know all the details, but you know there's going to be something inside of what He's saying. You kind of have an idea, you know. And I don't know about y'all, but you sit there and try to figure it out, right? Because that's spiritual. It's called torment because you don't know what's going on. Now you're more confused than you were before you got the word, right? So then you're like, I don't even want the word. I remember when the Lord told me who I was going to marry, I thought it was going to happen in 6 months. Honestly, I thought it was going to happen in 6 hours. 2 years went by. I was like, who does that? That is hateful and mean. But he said that to tell me to leave it alone because I was super excited. I was like, it's going to be that one. 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 He's like, no, dummy, stop. You know? And I was like, well, just tell me. You tell me all kinds of other stuff about my flesh. Tell me who I'm going to marry. Give me a word there. Come on, you know? He said, okay, it's going to come with a cost. You're going to have to wait. That's a great word. Anytime you're dealing with anything, is waiting. Anyways, that could go down a bad trail. So this man apprehended Jesus and said, hey, come to the house. My little girl's dead, right? Rightfully so. I'm going to be in the panic mode, okay? All right, let's Yep. All right, we'll continue on. So Jesus went with him, and a great multitude followed him and thronged him. I would just imagine that means that they were right on his tail. Now, a certain woman had a flow of blood for 12 years and had suffered many things from many physicians. She had spent all that she had and was no better, but rather grew worse. When she heard about Jesus, she came behind the crowd and touched his garment. For she said, if only I may touch his clothes, I shall be made well. Immediately, the fountain of her blood was dried up. So he's going somewhere else. And somebody else is coming after him with a problem, right? I would have lost my mind at this moment. Like, hold up. We got to bring order, right? We got to bring control. Stop, right? This is just chaos, right? I don't know about y'all. I would have just been, what is going on here? God is going on there. Oh, man. I don't know. That would just, that would irk me. Is that, my aunt used to say, irk. So she felt in her body that she was healed. He was going somewhere else. And Jesus immediately, knowing in himself that power had gone out of him, turned around in the crowd and said, who touched my clothes? But his disciples said to him, you see the multitude thronging you. You say, who touched you? But he looked around to see her who had done this. But the woman was very scared, fearing and trembling, knowing what had happened to her, come and fell down before him and told him the whole truth. And he said to her, daughter, your faith has made you well. Go in peace and be healed of your affliction. While he was still speaking, some came from the ruler of the synagogue's house who said, your daughter is dead. Why trouble the teacher any further? Okay, so she went from needing some prayer, now she's dead. I'm sure if somebody came and said, hey, David, would you go and pray? And David went to Dunkin' Donuts, David went to Whataburger, all these other places, and the person died in the hospital while they were waiting on him, it would be on Love Shreveport Bossier, right? It's going to be on there. Pastor waits too long, patient dies, right? It's going to be on TV now, right? Now we got a real problem. Everybody goes to the comment section, So now she done died because he was healing somebody else that he didn't even know about. He didn't get this girl's name, or maybe he did, but he was on his way somewhere else. So I don't know why he works like this, but it is chaos. And it is not what we planned. And I think that's probably the only thing that gets us away from him is our plans. And they feel good too. I'm going to tell you, I can tell you what day I work in 2030. I can tell you right now, I have a calendar. 2070, I can tell you what day I'm working. But it's stuck in my phone. So every shift, so we work 5 shifts and we're off for 5 days. So what's hard, Miss Pat, is looking ahead. How can you look ahead? I know, it's a trap. It's a trap. So it is. And then it goes, hey, let's go ahead and plan. And I'm like, well, the Bible says planning's a good thing. But planning without him is a bad thing, right? That's the deal. Okay, Lord, we'll put this on the table. If you want to do it, cool. If not, oh well. That's a better way to plan. Because I've planned the other way. Oh, this is how it's going to be. Oh, yeah, okay. I'm telling you what, it's going to be a disaster. I'm just going to tell you. So, yeah. Anyways. Oh, yeah, he will fix. He does what's called cancel. He cancels things. So the daughter done died now. Jesus was too late, right? I don't know if he ever waits too long to come through for you, but I feel like he waits on us to die. before he shows up. I'm like, Lord, you could have came through, but look at this now. Blah, So I don't know. Maybe I don't feel the same way. The bad part is the mind is on the outcome or the instance, not the Father. That's the problem, right? Isn't that the real problem? And that is a booger right there. As soon as Jesus heard the word, he said to the ruler of synagogue, "Do not be afraid, only believe." So what he said is, quit being led by fear and believe I am the life. That hurts me. That bothers me. And he permitted no one to follow him except Peter, James, and John, and John, the brother of James. Then he came into the house of the ruler of the synagogue. And so, hold up. So this is the ruler of the synagogue. So this guy's like the leader of the church, right? So they don't really like Jesus, right? They're really not into him until something dies in their house, right? Okay. Well, I mean, I guess he got his attention. And he saw a tumult and those who wept and wailed loudly. So it was chaos, right? He just left chaos. Now he's back in chaos, right? Man. And when he came in, he said to them, "Why make all this commotion and weep? The child is not dead, only sleeping." The child's just sleeping. So he prefers us to be in chaos. We plan not to be in chaos. Like literally every week, I try to bring order to chaos. They call us, "Hey, there's chaos in our house." We go there, we bring order to the chaos, right? Sometimes, but sometimes we don't. But you know what's wild is when them people see you outside of that moment, they are so thankful that you were there, that you showed up. Hey, something is happening. My marriage is falling apart. And you just go there and you go, "I can't do anything. You messed it up. You're the one that slapped her. I can't do that. I can't unslap her. You slapped her, And you're just sitting there. I don't know what I'm doing here. I could be at home watching American Idol or something, But I'm here with you. You slapped your wife. I mean, come on. And then they're like, "Thank you for showing up. We're such idiots, whatever." I mean, you didn't do anything, right? You just sat there. And you just were with them. And that's it. That's all that matters. It's just showing up and just being there. Okay. So I think for us, I don't know about for everybody, but for me, he is after my Monday through Friday. Is he after y'all's Monday or Monday through Saturday? I'm sorry. Monday through Saturday. Because this is a planned event, right? This is routine. This is brushing your teeth. We're just brushing our teeth this morning. 12 o'clock, I'm going to tell you what, I'll be looking at my watch. Okay, it's time to go. Shut her down. Time to go eat. Hungry. My dad used to do this. And I'm like, "Stop, Dad." Like, he knows it's 12 o'clock. Stop. Shut her down. Especially football season. Hey, time to shut her down. Saints are playing. Okay. They're going to be playing. You got a recorder now. But outside of this planned event is what he's after. He wants us to return home and let people return home to our home. Me and Christine were talking, I guess, a couple of weeks ago, and we had been talking about like, hey, let's have people over. And all I could think about is, God, we got to clean up. And then by the time we clean up, the kids are going to destroy the house. So then, in my head, I'm like, okay, we'll do that one day. Well, a week goes by. Nothing. Right? There's other plans that are less important on the calendar, correct? All right. Now we're going to have to plan this thing. And I remember me and her were in the kitchen and we were like, you know what? We really do need to get together. And I was like, you know what? Let's do it right now. If we don't do it right now, I swear it'll be another week. And then it'll be another month. And then it'll be 6 months. Right? I just said, you know what? Sunday's not enough. Let's do it every month. Oh, boy, I could feel the price. Oh, Lord, that means that we're going to have to clean up and this will be a monthly thing and blah, 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 blah. Well, what if you got this going on? Well, it don't matter. It don't matter. At the end of the day, we want to do life, right? We want to, hey, man, whenever we get there and we're hanging out, there is nothing better. Like, people are in your house and they're just in your house. It is what it is. Oh, well. But it's uncomfortable, right? It's kind of chaotic, right? It's not like rest time, right? But it is restful. Isn't that weird? When fellowship is happening and everybody's hanging out, it is so rich. Like wealthy rich. And you're like, I don't ever want this to end. Never. Anyways, that wasn't even in here. So, there's an old song, and I remember this song because I think they used to sing it like every Sunday. And it's called Through It All. Have y'all ever heard that song? It's in a hymnal, right? Is it a hymnal? Do we have hymnals? I don't think we do. No, we got Kleenexes if you cry. If it happens, it does happen. But it says, through it all, I've learned to trust in Jesus. I've learned to trust in God. And them are really large statements. Them are short sentences, but trusting is really difficult. Because we live in a world that says, be afraid. It does. Be afraid of this. Be afraid of that. Be afraid there's crime in your city. There's always been crime in our city. I can tell you what, they weren't doing Shreveport Bossier when I was living in Cedar Grove. And there was always crime. I went to bed with gunshots going off, every night for decades, So, it's nothing new. It's the same. And it's not going to change when our kids get older. Still going to be crime. There's still going to be bad things happening to good people, And so that is the deal is, hey, God is not good. Don't trust him. He's not good. He is good. Even in the bad, there is so much good happening. Honestly, some of these things I see are devastating, but there's so much good happening. And I'll see it. It's like a glimmer, like just a flash of light in these absolute horrendous dark situations. And I'm like, wow, there's light. Look at that. Because this could be focused on, all the darkness could be focused on and consume and just devastate your soul. But that little glimmer of light has the ability to drag you out. Isn't that wild? That makes me think about when I got born again in 2007. There was, huh? It did. See, look at there. I lowered the crime by 1%. Can you believe that? They didn't even know I didn't even pay taxes back then. They didn't even know I was a citizen. There will be days, I remember, I have to take myself back there because it was like a lifetime ago. That was like a whole nother life. Sometimes I'll thumb through the book and I'm like, I can't believe this was my quality of life. Like this was my mindset. Just no direction, just chaos every day, destruction, ashes. I was like, how can a person ever be happy in that? I don't understand. And there were days that I was like, man, I can't believe I'm living. I can't believe I'm alive. Life is not very sustainable, like the long term. It's just not. So it makes sense why people die at a young age because you just can't sustain that life. Like living in the streets, it just doesn't last long. It's not meant to last. It's the hound dogs of heaven trying to bark at you and nip at your heels and say, come home. Leave this alone. This is not who you are, right? Yeah, so honestly, I had no plan. It was awesome. I didn't have a plan when I came to church. My plan was I'm going to prove these guys wrong. I don't need the Bible. I don't need the Lord. I've lived without him for a long time, right? My pride of my ashes. It's like having a bucket of ashes. Man, this is great. I don't want all that good stuff that would help me and heal me and give me family and just and restore my soul. I don't want any of that. I like these ashes and I'm not going to give them up. That's exactly what I was doing. That's absolutely stupid. Completely. In a nice way, over the mic. Like just not a good plan. The verse that really the only verse I ever understood, like in my like 20s, like my mid 20s, was Psalm 68:6. Like I lived this verse. I didn't understand the Bible. I didn't know there was a New and Old Testament. I didn't even know. I just knew that some Gideon person, it said Gideon Bible. I didn't know if that meant like giddy up. I didn't even know what a Gideon was. I didn't know. I had no frame of reference. But the verse said, God sets the solitary, the lonely in families. He leads prisoners out with singing. And I can tell you what, in 2004, I lived every word of that sentence right there. And it was like God came alive to me. Like people would tell me, oh, you need the Lord. And it just never came alive. It wasn't the word made flesh. Does that make sense? Like you can hear a word and you're like, oh, that's great. And that sounds really spiritual. But it just never hit me in the chest. Like when I read that, I was like, oh my God, I'm fixing to get out of jail. This is great. And if you've ever been in jail, you are really looking for the day that you can get out. It's like you're released. It's your freedom. And I don't know if you've ever been tied up to something. But what sucks about being tied up is you can't leave when you want. You can want to leave, but you're not going anywhere. I think that's the worst part of addiction is you desire to leave greatly. You greatly want to be let go. You can't. And they're like, I don't understand why they do that. Because they are a slave. They do not they may make decisions, but their desires are attached to their habits and everything else. And their body is saying drugs. Today, drugs, 2 a.m, drugs. It's so unless the father steps in and shuts it down, they're a prisoner. And it sucks. So what I learned coming out of that and just doing life, just learning how to stay.
I'm sorry. You know what that song, this kind of strikes me. That song is when there was a watchman on the top of a mountain.
Really?
And when he saw the tabernacle of Moses, the smoke, fire by night, smoke by day.
Yeah.
He saw the Lord move. That's what this song is. The guy on top of the mountain would say, verse 1, let God arise. And then the song is about the Lord, going before and moving,
wow.
in life. So that's where that came about.
That's unbelievable. So he was saying that to them back in the day, and he still says the same thing to us.
Yeah.
Isn't that wild? That we're getting the same words that they were getting back. That's unbelievable. I honestly, when I would read the Bible, I would never think that we were comparable to these people in the Bible.
Well, they were a rebellious and wicked generation.
We're not like that at all, right? We're a holy priesthood, right? I don't think so. Yeah. Woo, Lord. Oh, Lord. Yep. David would be like, we don't need you preaching anymore. Oh, man. So listen, what I started to learn is for me to stay in line with the Father and willingly allow him to do what he wants to do for a long term, not for 6 months and then back on the drugs, or because I relapsed a whole bunch. I just did because that was familiar, very comfy. That was my home. Like, I didn't understand that people didn't have roaches. Like, I grew up with roach motels. I was like, where's y'all's raid at, bro? They ain't have raid. They ain't have roaches. I was familiar to me. In Cedar Grove, everybody got roaches. The quality of life, I was so used to that. We smoked in the house. I'm like, you guys don't smoke in y'all's house? What's wrong with y'all? What? Y'all don't smoke Black and Milds in your house? I don't understand. Y'all only see the cops here? What do you mean? Like, Shreveport police don't come to Cedar Grove very often. They just don't. And so it was like shocking. And it was kind of embarrassing because I was like, gosh, I've been living way below my means. This is terrible. I remember when Mickey's son Gabe was like, dude, there's a whole new life out there. Are you kidding? And I was like, seriously? Like a whole new life? Let's check it out. Like, what are we going to do? Go to the bowling alley and get some beer? I don't understand. Like, what's so new life? I just didn't have a clue. And what I learned over the next 10 years from that point was surrendering to the daily leading of Jesus, no matter what the cost is. Like, hey, we can move to the Highland. Highland was an upgrade for me. Like, that was like, I was living pretty good. Like, man, you're doing all right. You may make it. And I was like, man, this is great. $500 a month. This is awesome. You can shoot from the front door straight to the back. It's Shotgun House. This is great. I've never lived like this. Poor Christine. That's the first house we lived in when we got married. She was dying on her flesh. I know her flesh was dying. Are you kidding me? We living here? Come on now. But it worked. We were eating crawfish on the front porch because I was a front porch type of person. Hey, we're going to sit on the front porch because we're going to watch something go down. That's all I knew is you just go outside and sit on the front porch, But the Lord wanted more, and to me that was simple life. It was prison and it was misery and it was destruction, but I loved it. But he wanted more for me when I didn't even believe. I didn't know to believe. I didn't even know it was there. And so when he kept wooing me, like, people would walk up to me and say, hey, man, you got a call on your life. And I'm like, whatever. Call. What kind of call? Phone call? And I would, make fun of them. Or I had no idea. I didn't know what was going on. But he kept doing that, making himself uncomfortable to woo us, right? Hey, what you're doing is you're living good, but come on, right? I got something over here. You don't know this side of me yet. Come over here. You know this part of me, and you really do like it, and it's enjoyable, and it's not bad, but come over here. I want to introduce you to another part of me. And I didn't understand that. I didn't know that his heart was always for us to get to know him and to walk with him. I just thought that we prayed, he answered our prayers, and we kept struggling, right? Right? You just struggle until you go to heaven. That's all I knew. That was it. I didn't know anything else. We're just going to struggle, and, our flesh is going to burn all the way until we get there. And that is kind of true, but you get to know him all the way, and it makes it less painful. But if you don't focus on that, then you just focus on the pain and, the season. So the second one was, what's weird is what I learned here it relates to marriage too. Like marriage, life, and just how it is. So everything is all connected. Isn't that strange? That what goes on up here goes on out here and in your house and at your work. It really blow your little ADHD mind if you got one. So prayer and communication. You got to pray. Hey, Lord, I'm tired of struggling with this. I'm tired of this. Well, good. You don't have to do that. You've been doing that by yourself. I don't know why you've been carrying that burden. What? I thought that was your burden. No, that's yours. I'm like, are you serious? Yeah, you're carrying somebody else's burden. I'm like, what? This is retarded. Yeah, I know. Yeah, let it go. Give it to me. I'm like, oh, man. And just talking to him. Like, you're doing things that you're not supposed to be doing. And you're carrying all this weight. I remember when me and all my friends, we would try and help anybody we could. We were carrying all their burdens, all their family baggage and drama. We were just trying to carry it all, right? Oh, man, we're just helping them out. And we were so worn out. We were just weary. And they're just going back in the dope houses. I'm like, I don't understand. He's like, yeah, just let them go. What? Let them go? What are you talking about? I ain't letting them go. Yeah, man, just let them go. They'll come back. As soon as we let go, poof, here they come right back. Because we were the mercy for them. They weren't feeling the consequences. We were holding everything together. Or we were trying to. We were dying inside, right? I remember when I was out there living my best life, or what I thought was my best life, a pastor in Shreveport, they were doing like a worship set on Saturday, getting everything together for Sunday. And he spun around, and if you ever met DeWitt Jones, he spun around and he goes, where's John Mauser at? And they're like, Pastor, he's been gone for a year. Like he's out there tearing it up with the drugs and all that. And he said, quit praying for him. They're like, what? What? Are you serious? Yep. Right now. Don't pray for him no more. All y'all. I came to church the next Sunday. I've been gone for a year. Not like a week. So that night, I'm sure right around that time, I can tell you what happened. The Lord told me about 2 o'clock that day, you're coming home tomorrow. I said, nobody tells me what to do. I got this, big boy. So what I did is I went out that night and drank as much as I could physically get in my body. Because, I knew the truth, right? But I was still out there and I was just just an idiot. And it's terrible to know the truth and be out there playing with the devil in the world. It is horrible on the inside. It is, I can't even, it is the highest level of misery I've ever felt in my life. And I drank, I don't even remember the amount. But I felt like everything was fixing to black out. And I was trying to get to my vehicle and I was trying to crank it. I was trying to leave. And I blacked out in the middle of downtown, right in the middle, like blind tigers here. And I'm sitting with the door open. People are taking a right, and I remember them honking and I'm trying to crank the truck, I don't remember anything from that point. But I woke up the next day and I went to church. And they were like, what are you doing? Like my roommates, they're like, what are you doing? Why are you ironing clothes? I was like, man, I'm going to church. They were like, what? You don't go to church? What are you talking about? I said, yeah, man, I'm going to church. They were like, dude, do you know what happened? Like we had to call the paramedics. Like you were on the floor, in the middle of the floor, laid out in the middle of the floor. They were watching your heart rate, trying to see if your heart was going to stop or explode. You had drank like 20 Red Bulls and 20 vodkas. I don't even understand how you're awake. Like, I don't even know, like, this does not, I'm just so confused. I'm going back to my bedroom. And the guy went back to his bedroom and I ironed my clothes and I packed all my stuff and I left. And that was it. I never went back to the pig pen. No more. No more pig pen for me. That was it. I'm the Father's.
Same thing happened to somebody that I was praying for, and Brad finally told me to quit praying for her.
Oh.
The second I did, just released so much, and she's been great for over a year now. And
yeah,
and we're anywhere. She couldn't even be on her front porch without somebody coming and giving her a word. Like,
Man.
just after her so much. But as soon as I let go, there's so much release.
Boy, that's so hard. I'll tell you what, my mom, I guarantee you, somebody even told me this one time. They said, if your mom hadn't have prayed for you your whole life, you'd be dead a long time ago. And I wonder if she would have stopped praying for me earlier, maybe, because I was a booger, but isn't that wild when we start praying for somebody, man. And when we stop, that's hard. It would be hard for me to stop praying for my child. I mean, I'll tell you what, every night, them kids, even when I'm at work, they call, hey, they want you to tell them a story and pray for them. And because I never grew up like that. Nobody did that for me. Nobody told me a story. Nobody prayed for me when I was little. And I always wanted that because I would lay there scared, and I could see stuff. And I was like, golly, like, them are really scary things, and nobody would tell me stories. Nobody would pray for me. And I said, I don't want my kids laying in their bed thinking, I want them to know that we are there and we did not just leave them in their rooms. Go night-night, see you later. Now sometimes, yeah, okay, it's midnight. You've been playing the system. You know what that is? Like playing the system. Y'all know how that works. But yep, the next one is fear the Lord. Just knowing that He is allowing me to work with Him and to walk with Him. And if I don't do what He's asking, He will find somebody else to do it. He will just keep asking people. And I would always think about that. He told me that one time too. Hey, if you don't do what I'm asking you, I will ask somebody else. And I was like, well, I kind of wish you would, but I really don't want to watch somebody else walk in what I know that you are asking. Then you have worship. I mean, I don't know about y'all, but there are times, if you ever heard that song, Hard Fought Hallelujah, there are times it's really easy where, you're just chumming along and you might as well be in heaven driving around until you hit a pothole. And, everything is great. But then there's times where you just get smoked, by somebody. They said something about your mama or something. And, there's some worship going on and it ain't heavenly. Them are hard. It's hard to do that. But that is when it does count and it does help. It helps that heart not fester. I don't know about y'all, but I don't like to be persecuted. I don't think any of us do. But if we're going to walk with Him, that is part of the deal, If we won't kill our flesh, He'll use that to kill it. And it hurt. That's painful. That's a booger there. To smile when you're just, getting it. I've had people hollering at me, and I don't do well with that. Because I like to fight. I enjoyed fighting. I really do. I'm like, come on, man, let's go. But you can't. And it's hard. It's tough. Y'all like to fight? Maybe y'all don't like to fight. I don't know. Discipleship. This is a tough one because literally you can get born again. I mean, I was born again, but I knew I needed to grow. I didn't know a thing. I didn't even know churchanese. I didn't know anything. I had no clue. Somebody had to literally teach me how to read the Bible. Like they tell me, hey, there's new and Old Testament, sometimes like I would call them, hey, I think God's speaking to me, like I'm not sure. They're like, oh, that's not God at all. That's you. And I was like, oh, okay. Well, I think you're wrong. And I would argue, I don't know about y'all, but in discipleship, I argue, I would argue and complain or whatever. I don't know if y'all do that, but it's good to have somebody to do it with instead of just complaining by yourself or arguing with yourself. But I learned so much in that process. Literally, Jesus was in flesh form discipling me through another person. And, they don't live here now, and I miss them. I mean, they greatly invested in me and Christine. You know, like without them, I mean, I'd have just probably went right back to the pig pen, you know. But they would call me or show up at my work. Hey, man, I'm thinking about you. And I'm like, oh, that's good. Thanks. See you later. You know, whatever. You know, I don't know. I'm rebellious and wicked, is what Jack was saying. Yeah. So I'm just so used to that nature. So when people were being really nice to me, I would just go, whatever. There's a motive, you know, because I knew when people are nice to you, there's a motive, you know. And so you just kind of, right? Is that the formula, right? Or presumption? Is that what it is? Something like that. Or you just think this is what they're doing. You are, and it's not discernment, right? Yeah. See, I didn't know the difference between suspicion and discernment. I didn't even know what discernment meant. I just thought it meant you were concerned. Or for me, I was like, why would you be nice to me? That's what it was. So the Lord would show up like that, and I would not like that. I'm like, I remember me and a friend of mine, we would be in the hallways of that church, and the daddy, Pastor Rodney, I never met him, but the son, Pastor Denny, would say, man of God, you are to change the world. And I was just like, I was just hard. That was hard to hear. Man of God, that was hard to hear that. Because I was like, you have no idea what I've lived through. I ain't no man of God. Definitely. I'm a man of the flesh. You know, and just people saying that brings you up, like in your spirit, and your spirit saying, hey, come up here. And your flesh is like, I don't live up there, but you should live up here. That's hard, you know. So that discipleship is great. You may be having a hard week, and just say, hey, David, you know, I remember this time that you encouraged me, and honestly, I was having one of the worst weeks of my life. And they would be like, I don't even remember that. And that's important. Like that's super. I mean, I don't know if y'all know. You just never know what's going on in somebody's life. And if you don't ever see anybody for 6 days, you know, and you just never know what they're going through. But if you see them week in and week out, you kind of know, like, hey, how you doing? I haven't seen you, or whatever. And it helps us grow closer to Him, not just together, but we are Him. I didn't even know that the body of Christ was the Lord. I had no clue. I didn't know that He was made up of us. Like the Father is made up of people. His body is people. If you ever looked at His arms, it's people. The whole thing is people. All this is people. I had no clue. I didn't even know. I thought there was some that you could just kind of get them out. Oh, they don't belong. Get them out of there. Right? You know, like you're picking a baseball team. They suck. You know, they're really good. You know, it's not like that at all. At all. I know when they do some of the trainings, they say, hey, we're going to train, but the slowest person sets the pace. So that means we leave nobody behind. There is not one person that's left behind. We are behind the slowest person. He is our leader. And boy, if you like to go fast, that is terrible. So we are better together. That's it. I will say that forever. I really feel like I lived to be isolated because I was hiding from the police. Okay. That's not a good thing, right? So when you're isolated, nothing good happens, right? What happens in the darkness? Stuff that probably shouldn't be happening, right? And when I would do things in the dark, like that's a crime. Anything. Go get anything that I didn't pay for. I'll say it like that. What'd you say, Claudia? Yeah. Yeah. Yep. And if you're out there, you're not going to want to be I knew that I couldn't go out there and do things that were bad and come around my friends that loved Jesus because they would call it out. I was talking to Gabe this week and I said, I remember smoking cigarettes. I was sneaking. I was hiding cigarettes and I would cologne it down, because that works. The thing that sucks about smoking is you really can't smell it that good because you're smoking. So Gabe was like, I walked up in the sound booth. I was like, what's up, bro? He was like, you been smoking? I was like, yep, sure have. He's like, man, all I smell is cigarettes and cologne. I was like, well, I was trying to hoping that the smell of cologne would overpower the cigarettes. But that was love. And what's funny is we get to do that to each other. I'm like, hey, Gabe, where you at? We challenge each other, but we've done that for years. We have walked together through probably every season, like literally every season. And some people, you may meet them in church and get to know them really good, and they go to another church. And you're still walking with them. It never ends. It doesn't stop. I mean, sometimes it does, but I feel like it's for a reason, But it takes time to invest in friendships, and it's costly. It's going to cost. It is. I remember anything that I've ever done that's been wonderful or worth, like family time, it's cost. Going to my parents, 30 minutes, no cell phone signal, that cost. Because I like my cell phone. I don't know about y'all. Do y'all like your cell phone? I do. When the signal sucks, I can't use it. But I value my parents. I only got 2 of them. That's it. Discipleship, very uncomfortable. There's always constant cutting away at lies, idols, and mindsets that were probably not from the Lord. That's terrible, right? Just like, I don't know about y'all, but most of the time our thinking, it's just not always influenced by the Lord. And when somebody says, hey, that's not a mindset, that's not healthy, that'll sand you off a little bit. But it helps us not change each other, but it helps us influence each other's quality of life. Like, hey, getting together is great. It enriches everything. So Christine and I have been doing gardening. Have y'all ever done that before? Boy, it's a lot of work. It seems fun, but it's a lot of work, right? You got to keep the bugs out. You got to check the soil, and then you got kids that pour stuff on it, and then you have to plant them, and you have to wait. You have to wait a long time, and it's like, man, I'm hungry. You're gonna have to hurry up. 60 days, a long time. But this is what he does to us. It was really cool. It was like an experiment. Honestly, I did this so I wouldn't be so tormented in my mind. We could get outside. If you ever stay in your house and you're like, I need to get out. Like when you get outside, it just change your whole mind. So just being outside is good because come the summertime, it's gonna feel like you're hanging out with Satan. It's hot. It's hot out there. Jeez Louise. It is bad. Yeah. The Father does this for us. He watches our soil. He watches our seeds. He lets the weeds come up in our life, Some things that we're like, man, I wish you'd pull that out. Nah. No, I'm going to leave it. So I have left some weeds. My OCD and all my other little whatever things I have want to pull all the weeds up, make it all pretty, but I'm like, oh, no, I'm just going to let it kind of be messy, and I don't like messes, Christine, no, I don't like messes. But sometimes it gets messy, and it's good. I had a fireman tell me the other day, John, just remember, you can only see your kids once. They're going to grow up, and it's going to be over. And he said, I have missed so many moments. And it's going to be messy, and let it be messy. And I was like, no, I don't want it to be. I want it to be right? I want it. But it's messy and it's good. But just be there. That's all he was saying is, dude, just show up. You don't even have to have the answer. Just show up. And it like spoke to me. I was like, man, that is great. That's a word, right? Just show up. That can happen. That can work in any part of your life. Even if you don't want to, just show up. Man, I don't want to go over there. Blah, blah. They're cooking food I don't even like. I don't like tomatoes, but some guy cooked tomato, all kinds of stuff, and I ate it. Oh, and then he cooked Spam. I was like, oh, that is terrible. But I ate it, and the guy was like, why'd you eat it? And I was like, man, it's disrespectful, to not eat another fireman's food, like just make fun of him because he cooked Spam. But I ate it anyway. I won't do it again. But I told him, I was like, man, that was some good food. He goes, I heard different. And I said, what do you mean? I didn't know you didn't like Spam. Why'd you eat it? And I was like, well, I didn't want to be disrespectful to you. You did cook us free breakfast, I could at least, just eat your food. And he said, I won't cook it again. I'll cook bacon. I said, okay, we good. We got a plan there. Yeah. Yeah. So here we have to follow Jesus' agenda, and we have to surrender all the way, even our past, even our future. It was easy to give up our past. It was super easy for me to give up Ashes, right? But whenever he set me on a solid ground, I was kind of like, there ain't no fire extinguisher. You just set it back on the wall. Huh, thanks, Jesus. Appreciate you. I'm going to go on about living my life, And sure, does he want us to live outside of that? You bet. But when he comes in and says, hey, I need you to do this, need you to do that, man, I got you. I'm on it. I got you. I'm on it. Matthew 10, it says, 10:38, it says, he who does not take his cross and follow after me is not worthy of me. He who finds his life will lose it, and he who loses his life for my sake will find it. Yep. It's hard to give up a good life to follow his. It's easy to give up a bad life and follow his. It is. So it's 11:49. I'll get you out of here before 12, I promise. But I want to end with the prodigal son story. I don't know how y'all grew up. I don't know where you're at in your life. But anytime I get up here, anytime I hear David preach, Brad preach, Mickey, Jack, anybody, what they're talking about is being led by the Spirit and returning to Jesus. And anytime I hear that, I'm like, I don't understand. That's because my flesh, my carnal mind does not want to return to the Lord's agenda. It don't. It says, hey, I've got my, decent little church agenda going on here. And whatever the Lord wants me to do, I don't really have to do that. That's kind of permissible. I'm showing up, just in your mind. I don't know. That may be just how mine works. But following him means whatever he's saying, I'm all in. It may take me some time to obey it, but I'm becoming all in with what he's saying. And for me, like fully trusting him that's always been difficult for me. I've been on my own since I was 15 years old. Like I've been working on my own since I was 15. So all I ever know is my abilities and, talents or whatever I have to provide. A lot of times, like not just financially, but just like in life, like trusting he has a good plan. I don't know if y'all ever struggle with that. I do. I'm like, man, I was in a fire the other day and I was looking at an oxygen bottle that was right here, and literally the flames are just blowing up here. And there's tin everywhere. It's a commercial structure fire. And I was thinking, God, if I live through this, This is going to be amazing. But that told me that in my heart, there is not trust there, that he wouldn't bring me home. You mean to tell me I believe that he brought me to the fire station, but he's not going to bring me home to my family? And even if he doesn't, I'm going home to be with him. But it was immediate. Because why? Because like it's like right in front of you. You're like trying to put this raging machine out that has potential to kill you. That thing could have blew up, hit me, knocked me around. I'm there by myself. We're waiting on, hey, we're calling for help. Help, we need more engines, we need people. And me and my captain, we're just David and Goliath, just trying to work this thing over. But the Lord was like, there it is. You don't trust me. There, that little thing down there. Give me that. Let me have that. I mean, my captain's got it because he's crazy. He will jump on that roof. He will bail off in that thing. He don't care. And I'm like, man, I want to be like that. I want to be like that. So, I mean, I don't know. There could be anything. He could be after anything. I'll tell you what, I feel like sometimes he is like, he's after everything, right? There's a song that one of the Jones kids used to sing. He wants it all. And I wish he just wanted a little bit, but he wants it all. Like he wants the whole pie. He don't want a square. He wants the whole thing. But he doesn't want to take it from us. I used to think he was going to take everything from us. He is going to make it for our good, and it may not feel good. Does that make sense? So maybe you're like me. Maybe you just have this thing going on or this thing going on. Whatever it is. Just let him have it. Just make that step. Make the call. Make the move. Whatever it is. It's not going to be fun, but it will be fun because he's leading you. The thing about him leading you is he's walked the path already. And he is saying, hey, come over here. Yeah, I know you see the flames, but come over here. Man, I don't know. So I'll pray for us, and hope y'all have a great week. Lord, we love you. We love you verbally, and we love you with our actions. And that's what speaks to other people. They watch us constantly. They're looking for the real Jesus. They're looking for the real disciples that love each other and that are willing to walk into absolute uncomfortable situations because they're convinced that you are wonderful, you are good, and you do have our best interests at hand. Lord, I pray for every person here. There are so many things that you will ask of us. But Lord, I pray that we would see them as an opportunity to just know you more, to know you in a new way that we don't know you, to have such just such a relationship with you that when we do stand before you, our heart burns with yours. Lord, I thank you that there's just several people in here that you have asked them to do things that are costly. And maybe the cost has been what has been focused on. But Lord, I pray that the price you paid would be more expensive. May they look at how you laid your life down so we could be connected to you and we could follow you. And you did that so we didn't have to be slaves anymore. And Lord, I pray your love would just wash them and flood their homes. And unity would flood their homes. And Lord, may this be a house of obedience. May we obey. May we be quick to repent and quick to obey. Lord, help us to to do the things that you ask us to do. Help us to return home to you and put you as the focal point. Everything else will fall into alignment as we put our eyes on you and we become like you. Help us to not focus on the waves that roar. May we see chaos as your healing room for our souls. May we trust you again. Amen.